A Man in the Attic. Rosie and her husband, Gard, lived in an old beige farmhouse in the country. They expected their son, Stephen, and his wife, Laura, to visit them. Rosie cleaned the house and prepared the upstairs bedroom so their guests could sleep peacefully and have some privacy. After having dinner and catching up with minor chit-chat, the visiting couple excused themselves and settled upstairs for the night. Laura could not sleep well that night. She glanced over at her husband, who was already sleeping peacefully. She was envious of how he could fall asleep so quickly. Out of the corner of her eyes, she could have sworn that she saw someone move in the room's shadows. No one else was with them. Laura knew it could not have been Vincent, since that accident had happened before Stephen was born, and he wouldn't be this far into the house. Laura was about to wake her husband when it floated towards them and stared down. She closed her eyes, trying to pretend that she was asleep. Even with her eyes closed, it did not go away. Instead, the shadow lay across her and Stephen's legs, preventing them from moving. Laura did her best to sleep, and eventually she could. When morning came, her husband was the first to wake fully rested, while Laura was tired and anxious. "Everything okay, Laura?" "Stephen, I know your folks have a ghost, but is the attic haunted too?" Stephen looked at her confused. "Not that I'm aware." Laura nodded and rubbed her arms as a chill ran through her. Last was a shadow in the corner of the room. Her eyes looked at the spot where she had seen it. It walked over and laid across our legs. Her husband looked to where she was looking and squinted his eyes. "Are you sure it wasn't just sleep paralysis?" Laura shook her head. She knew it wasn't sleep paralysis. The shadow she had seen was real. At breakfast, Laura asked her in-laws if they knew anything about it. "A man in the attic?" Gard pondered. "I believe a doctor used to live here before I bought the house. It may be him or a patient he lost." Laura turned to her husband, surprised to hear this, because it confirmed what she had experienced last night. Stephen gave her a reassuring smile and held her hand. "So how long have you two known about it?" Stephen asked his parents. "Well, it all started with the stairs," Rosie said, looking towards the stairs across from the dining table, where the stairs led up to the second floor. "We hear footsteps walk up, then down," Gard explained. "The door wouldn't open and close, but there would be footsteps overhead as if someone was stomping around," Rosie added. Laura's husband was quiet. He had lived here his entire life and never knew anything about it. Now suddenly, this entity decided to make itself known. From here on out, it would continue to do so every time they came back to visit. It was also the last time Laura slept in the upstairs bedroom,